Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kevin Warsh, your host at the Prosperity Channel. Well, we have finally a program focusing strictly on the United States of America, because so many of my audience out there already want me to attack, solve, and finally come out with the right solutions that are long-lasting formulas to achieve the desired results. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we are not really scripted here. This all comes straight from my mind, my heart, and my soul. So let me get right into the first topic. We have two topics only. One is about the U.S. economy. What are you going to do about it? Is there going to be a market crash? And what are you going to do about it? And secondly, is the controversial American society. I'm not going to come out with a statement that you should rear your child this way, but the fact of the matter is the parents of the person who attempted to murder President Trump by the name of Cole Thomas Allen, that's with no H, Thomas Allen, and Thomas Crooks, I think is a classic example of the problem of child rearing in the United States of America. So question number one about the U.S. economy. I'm very confident that there will be no market crash. There will be no market crash. And to my Filipino audience, iba ang stock market sa Pilipinas at sa Estados Unidos. So I don't want you to equate all the formulas of what I am going to tell you right now vis-a-vis the Philippine stock market. It's a world of a difference. It's simply incomparable. In the United States of America, the stock market, according to so many, they are overpriced, overvalued, meaning to say the price is too high. And my answer is very clear. It really, for a lack of a better term, depends upon the CEO of that given company. And as I told you, I am going to put my reputation on the line. The stock value of NVIDIA in particular is very, very reasonable. It will not crash. However, there are certain stocks that, yes, are overvalued, but it will not lead to an automatic destruction or crash of the entire stock market of the Dow Jones et al., NASDAQ, etc. Because There are so many technical maneuverings going on around right now that they are, some of the stocks are moving from Dow Jones NYSE to the NASDAQ, and I believe very soon vice versa. So in other words, one of the investors back in Asia who is investing billions of dollars in the US stock market, not in other stock markets, is primarily because of the concept I told him that in the US stock market, despite all of the so-called statements of being rigged, of look what happened to the Lehman Brothers, etc., etc., at least I told him that the value will rebound back in a couple of years or less. And we are betting heavily on the new Fed chairman. I'm talking about Kevin Warsh. Warsh is the #1 reason why I told this particular billionaire that whatever was done previously by the inept Jerome Powell, Villanueva, will not happen, will never happen during the time of the new Fed chairman, Kevin Warsh. We're talking about not apples to apples here. Warsh is definitely way above the abilities and talents of the previous Fed chairman. And based on evidence, it clearly shows 100% that where can you find a Fed chairman continuing his tenure? And that clearly shows that my point that Warsh is different from Powell is so clear. And I'm telling you right now, I am putting all my money on the US stock market and not in any other stock market, including the Philippine stock market exchange, PSE. Why? Because I don't have the confidence with the current central bank governor there. And the numbers are so clear. And one of them were saying, well, our stock market is down because of so many, oh my God, nonsense reasons. Clearly, it is simply a lack of confidence. And this is what I can tell you about Kevin Warsh. I've studied his background very carefully. I have 100% confidence on the stewardship of the new Fed chairman, none other than Kevin Warsh. So let me go fast here right now because a lot of people are waiting for this particular formula. Cost equals revenue. That is the future of the US economy. Cost equals revenue. You define cost on so many types of costs, resulting into so many levels of revenue, thereby resulting into the changes of the best management practices of the general accounting principles as I speak. And it is very sad to say that up to now, so many of these people, especially from the Philippines, sad to say, are fooling, including Walmart, including Rob Walson, and including General Electric as of this hour, because there are so many people right now from the Philippines by the name of Jojie Angeles, and now I think Jem Benson would like to enter the fray. But this is what I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, to Robson Walton, and the list goes on. Why are these animals by the name of Jojie Angeles and Jem Benson in the state of Oklahoma? Why are they here? You know why? Because they want to tarnish my good image, not because I am jealous with them. They are here to steal from me, to rob me of my intellectual properties through my current wife, Nancy Tubujan Uy. Those are the facts, ladies and gentlemen. Do not be fooled by these animals, these robbers, these thieves. Do not. Because it will result into the demise of your given corporation, as clearly done by Jojie Angeles with Walmart. 1%? Jesus Christ, 1%, 2% for the last, 10, 15 years? That's a joke. That's a lie. That is a complete definition of Walmart sabotage. And I know he is not an honorable person. Why don't you ask him to make a statement? I am referring to this animal, to this thief, to this shenanigan by the name of Jojie Angeles from the Philippines, by the way. Why don't you make him make a statement? Because America, you are being fooled by this animal by the name of Jose Jojie Angeles. Okay? Now, we go to the most important subject matter. The budget of the United States of America. The budget of the United States of America is trending to become a monster at 40 trillion. 40 trillion. It's going that way because of so many factors. The war, endless shootings, endless economic crisis after crisis. Okay? How do we do it? It's very, very complicated, but it sounds simple with this particular statement. Cost equals revenue. Demand will be made scientific, not a combination of economics as defined as a social science. No. And that's why, if this will be approved by our beloved President, Donald Trump, then it's very clear that I will beat the record of the great John Maynard Keynes when The global economy was in tatters. The global economy right after World War II was garbage. The worst ever garbage economy in the history of mankind. And ladies and gentlemen, it is very clear that before the president, our beloved president, Donald Trump, became president, he clearly said, I don't want this job anymore. I'd rather do some other thing. That was so clear. But because America has been fooled by certain nations, I won't mention you them, the nations, because there are certain negotiations going on around, and I do not want to act as a person that comes out with statements out of the blue. So, being a responsible journalist, I can tell you this. If the president will approve this, by the way, I wanted this to be approved, but because of the so many violent killings, I have decided to refrain flying to Florida at Mar-a-Lago. Because I know these people, okay, who already attempted to kill me, by the way, might kill me again. So I'd like to be very clear that I know the game of killing, because I have been killed more than 18 times, including in Hesperian and Victorville, California. A deliberate car accident done by a white guy, or I don't know what his nationality is, but his name is Nick Cariotis, a realtor from Century 21. I almost died. I was very lucky. Very, very lucky. And therefore, what am I trying to do here? I'm making sure that everything will be in order so I can present the initial definition of the formulas, series of formulas, nothing to do with the stupid, worthless econometrics. Nothing at all. It is a new system that I got inspired when I was in the state of the Golden State, California. And what did they do there? Well, they as usually maligned me. They accused me of so many nonsense issues, including, what is this? Ziraulo. Ziraulo means crazy. But I told them, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, if I am crazy, then why do they keep on following me here, right here in California, in Oklahoma? Why? You know why? Because they made money, big money, stealing from me when I was in Southern California from 1999, 2000 to 2013. Remember the old saying, it is all about the money. And these animals will steal money at all costs. And I am not at all jealous about them, you know. That's a complete lie again. Somebody is fooling you again. I was never a person that would be jealous of your success. Because the truth of the matter is, okay, the truth of the matter is, they stole from me. They stole from me, and therefore they want to hide their faces here in the United States. they used my connections in order to make their dirty money as of this moment. And as I was telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is all based on evidence. And I will prove this in the video and in the courts of the United States and in the Philippine Islands. So just to be very clear, once and for all, the reason why we are doing this video is for you to be prosperous. You, America, to be prosperous again. And to tell you frankly, this video will be elevated not only here in the United States, but in other parts of the world. Because I don't want to use the R card, no? Because Google might stop this particular video. R is for, as you know, the slur. But the bottom line is the reason why we have endless shootings in America, including the shooting of the President of the United States, is because of the lack of quality immigrants. It's because of the lack of talent of child rearing. And that is why I would like to ask the parents, the relatives, the family members of this animal by the name of Cole Thomas Allen for shooting the United States President and thereby lowering down the confidence of investors in the United States. Because as they were telling me, if a president can be shot just like that, what else the investor? What else the investor? Very sad. Very, very sad. And that's why I am going to be head on. I will be going head on to attack the shootings once and for all, because the parents of Cole Thomas Allen must be deported effective immediately. And sad to say, up to now, this guy from Utah, Thomas Crooks, they're having a trial. What is the trial all about? Can we do a speedy trial for that murderer that not only destroyed the image of the United States presidency, but more so the mentality that if they can just shoot the president, they might just shoot anybody here. And this program will go head on to talk to these parents and ask them, why did your son do that? You know why? Because it's their problem. They did not properly raise that child. Those are the facts, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why these animals like Wendell R. Managat, Hermes Sardegna, I don't know why they're here. Sino ba bakit niyan? So I'm not being biased here, whether you're black, white, Hispanic. If you're anti-American, I will say it out loud here in this particular program, because the philosophy is this. Economics the new type of economics invented by yours truly, Gavin Batista, is all about quality immigrants. It's all about quality immigrants. Immigrants who can speak the language, who can develop new systems to improve our society, who can mingle between black, white, brown races in order to achieve maximum productivity. And if we are going to have this violence ongoing, and some stations even want to make it more worse. Well, my program will not do that particular matter. My station is dedicated for prosperity, and prosperity is based on quality immigrants. Well-bred individuals who are now adolescents, ready to contribute to solving so many issues, including cancer. Yes, I promised you that on day one. Cancer will be solved. You know, if I were not booted out from Johnson & Johnson, New Brunswick, well, Philippines, we could have solved that a long time ago. But as we say in business, there are always certain bad eggs in any business environment. And as I was telling them, the only way to do that is to really come out with regular performance audits. And I am not at all perturbed with these animals, you know. They're all gallivanting around there. As George Walker Bush would say, they have their own paparazzi. I'm not at all perturbed, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why I would like to correct the image I have for child rearing, which is all about discipline with no love. That is again false. My proposal in child rearing is discipline, love, caring, guidance, positivity, and a lot of mentoring. But again, they put words into my mouth saying that I'm all about discipline. No. Discipline is a combination of love, a combination of guidance, a combination of educating that particular child to become a very productive citizen of this great nation. But I must confess that in real life, there are only two things: the winners and the losers. If you're not yet a winner, become a winner. If you don't like the United States, then in fairness to Kristi Noem, which is a good, oh my God, a very good policy, regulation, you can self-deport yourself and then come back when you're ready. That's simple. And now, America, the US government, is giving you a free airfare. No wonder Spirit Airlines is going down. Well, that's just a joke. Huh? You're given, I can't believe it, but it's the truth. In America, self-deport means you're given a free ticket to go back to your country of origin. And you will not have bad records with America in terms of immigration. I can't believe it, but now they're hitting on Kristi Noem, but I think they're hitting on her because of the violence issue in implementing these new guidelines. But I am all for ICE, except for the violence. But the ICE people will say, Gavin, they started it. In other words, when you're there in a rally and they start hitting you, you have to hit back. And that's where the the greatness of the philosophy of certain generals back in the Philippines would say about maximum tolerance. Maximum tolerance without you getting killed. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for joining me again this particular Friday. We're talking about this Friday, and I would like to say that this is a very, very pivotal video because it practically pivots towards America's greatness. The belting of the $40 trillion to about 20 trillion overnight. Well, as soon as possible. And on the other hand, to solve the shootings in America. Thank you for your audience tonight. And I'll see you soon, because this is it. This is the essence of our programming. And it's either we become an overnight success or we will be just one of those. And I can already feel it based on the millions of audiences tuning in here. We are going to break all-time high records, especially in the field of economics. And yes, finally, we will stop the shooting at all costs. Thank you, good night. Send me a like, please subscribe, and you can give me a call directly at 405-503-8511, because you already know who are the people destroying me. Okay, you already know them. Do I have to tell you on the air who they are? Send me an email at superdeals1494@gmail.com, or if you wish, call me direct at 405-503-8511. Thank you.